and the smallest pieces are the weakest pieces, but you got to fill in all those voids. So it's a mix. It comes down to the mix and compressive strengths and how much water you put in, or in concrete, how little water you put in, or in block, how much water you put in, because we can't get enough water in our mix to hydrate all the cement. And with ready mix, they put too much water in and they overhydrate the cement. So, but then less water with concrete or ready mix that you're familiar with makes it a lot less workable. So the guys get lazy and they always put too much water in and it makes it weaker. So like an 8,000 psi mix, let's say for a bridge deck or something like that, uses microsilica and cement and really carefully measured ingredients and mixed up just right, not too many turns, not too few turns. So it's all the mix. It's as simple as that. It's just simply the mix.
Okay, yeah, and I guess you also, so that was the other thing I said, so the aggregate that you use and what it is, the material that it is, and then the sizes of it, and of course, stupid me, I'm thinking, well, you get very coarse for a coarse mix, but I guess you can mix them all in with different size aggregates too. The other thing was, and I heard this when I was in Saudi, and I don't know if it was true or not, but it was one of the construction guys over there telling me that the Saudis have to import the sand for their concrete over there because the sand that's in the Arabian desert, it's either the chemicals or the sizes or the shapes of it that it doesn't work well with concrete. Have you ever heard anything like that? I mean, is that plausible?
Well, I mean, it could be. I mean, I don't know why that sand. I'm trying to think of, unless it's really soft and it just breaks down, like turns into talc, turns into powder, because it's not very strong. That would be a real problem if it didn't have enough quartz and things like this in it. It could be maybe it's just very, very soft sand and is very powdery sand or clay-like, and that would be a real problem in the mix for sure.
Hey, by the way, speak of the devil, I finally heard an explanation the other day. I don't know if it's true, but they said it on TV. You know how everybody's suing over Johnson & Johnson talcum powder?
Right.
And the girls were getting ovarian cancer from it?
I heard that, yep.
Well, according to what I heard the other day, can you guess why? I could never understand how you could get cancer from powder.
Oh, jeez, I can only imagine.
Well, you know what it is? There's asbestos mixed in with it.
Nice.
That's what they said, and it's the first time I've ever heard it. They mentioned that the powder had asbestos in it, and they knew it, and they didn't do anything about it. Now, that may be the reason for all this. That'd be an interesting thing to look up.
Well, yeah, but that wouldn't give you ovarian cancer, would it? That would give you lung cancer. That's where the asbestos bothers. That gets into your lungs and tears your lungs up and causes all kinds of damage in your lungs. How does that bother your ovaries?
Oh, probably the same thing. Why not? Either I wouldn't want asbestos in either end.
Well, the asbestos gets down into the vaginal area and works its way up inside. It can slowly cut that whole area up there and keep an open wound all the time, and then you can get an infection in there, especially if you have questionable lifestyles and or other things going on, or your pH is screwed up or whatever. But you can get an infection in there that won't heal properly, and the next thing you know, you've got a real problem with circulation, and then next thing you know.
Well, anyway, I just thought that was an interesting thing that I heard the other day. I thought that was answered my question for quite a while.
Boy, I'll tell you, if they knew about it and didn't do that, sure sounds like criminal negligence to me anyway. But Randy, getting back to what you said, it's interesting. Yeah, you may be right because that whole area is a raised ocean bed, so I think it's probably, it's sedimentary, so it may be like sandstone or something, because depending on what part of the desert you're in, you dig down and you hit this caliche concrete thing, but you look at it and it's all kinds of shells and fossils and stuff like that, so Yeah, maybe that's it. If there's any truth to it, but maybe that's it. It just doesn't hold up to what they need.
A lot of the sand in Florida, they have problems like that too, and they have all kinds of issues with that sand. And they bring in sand all the time from other areas to Florida for concrete and for concrete block.
Okay, so it is plausible that, yep, see, I knew I have an expert, because it was something that, until we were talking, you said something about block, and I go, just something that was been nagging me for, 10, 20, 28 years.
Did you hear about the way we made this material called Positive out of the glass?
No, I haven't.
I should tell you about that sometime. I don't want to get into it tonight, but actually, if you look up on the internet, look up Randy Chrisman, my name, Randy Chrisman, and Yankee Block, you'll see an article, and you can read about one of the things that we came up with down in Kingston when we were doing. This was an article about me at Kingston Block and my partner. We came up with a way to use glass as a Portland cement replacement, but it was also about the fact that we did Yankee Stadium out of Kingston and like that. It's a pretty cool article, and it goes on. There's a lot of stuff you could read a lot about Positive. It's Pozzotive, Positive, and that's what we called it. And it's made from glass, recycled glass. And I could get into that and talk an hour, but I did that last night, so no sense of getting into it tonight.
Yeah, I was listening during the recycling discussion, and that was an eye-opener to me. So naive me thinks, doing all the proper recycling and doing everything right, that they're all doing this, and I'm going, what? I've been bamboozled and hoodwinked again.
Well, we have a garbage truck that comes to the house. Maureen separates everything, and the guy goes out to the container. He picks it up and dumps it in the back. He takes this recycled one, but dumps it in the same spot.
Jeez, first Santa Claus and now recycling.
I got to talk to you about the Easter Bunny next.
What do you want to know?
I can't take it all in one night, Randy.
I don't want to do that to you. You seem like a nice guy.
What do you want to know?
Hey, did you ever talk to your contact about Spaceman?
I did not. No, he's been jammed up a little bit. He's having some trouble with the group, and he's in a little bit of hot water. So there's been a few. I'm like the only guy in the group that get along with him right now. He's a very, very Ray-like guy. He's a genius, not that part like you, but he is a genius, an absolute genius. And when guys don't do things exactly, I'm talking exactly right, he goes bananas. So you've got to have, A equals B, followed by C, then D, and you got to have it all in a row. And if you hit A, B, C, and all of a sudden jumped over here to F to bypass a step, he goes bananas. He can't comprehend. He can't process it well. So he's into that right now. He's in a little bit of trouble, and I didn't want to add too much on his plate. But I may call. I think I'm going to text him tomorrow and say to him, I'd like to talk about our visitors at your earliest convenience over the weekend, maybe.
Would he happen to be German?
A lot like Jerry Bull, very, very intolerant of imperfection.
He truly is. He really is.
Yeah, but, in that kind of the stuff he does and Jerry Bull did, you make one stupid little, this isn't necessary, so I'll just do it this way, and then the whole thing explodes.
Right. Yeah, that's true, Ray, for the techers, but I'll tell you, the bean counters and the suits, that's usually where you run into that stuff. The bureaucrats can really make life unbearable. KT2D, 10 after the hour.
N3 RMR.
Go ahead, Ray.
N1 DVL.
KB2 ZVP.
2 nights in a row now, 20.
How do you know?
Oh, I got down on the other secret frequency. Jim checks in from Maine. He's way up, almost at the tip of Maine, almost into Canada, and he gets in with the group pretty much every night. And I checked in the past 2 nights, and it's orders of magnitude different.
Well, of course there is.
They're not quite used to me being so strong and powerful and controlling.
Have you said to anybody, have you said even one time, and not here on 1930, but have you mentioned it to anybody that the guys on 1930 helped you out?
Oh, I don't have to. They knew exactly why it was done and who it was motivated by.
Really? How much of a ball busting you taking with that?
No, none at all, actually.
Well, that's good. That's good. People, you know, I got to tell you, I was on AM the other day, and you'd be surprised at how many AM guys sit and listen late at night to us. You know, when their stuff just dries up, they go over, and some of the guys like to break you know, stones and comment on, you know, Ray, his personality or any of that stuff. But I find I let them go on and on and on, and then I just say very simply, and yet you sit and listen every single night.
The people that have a problem with frequency like this is they just have a problem because they think they know everything, and they just can't take the fact that somebody that actually has a personality might know something either more than them or the same that they do.
You know, Randy, them listening night after night, you know, and then commenting on whoever, Ray or whatever, reminds me of a comment that was attributed to Justice Thurgood Marshall when they were hearing things about pornography, and he says, yeah, I had to watch it about 10 times in order to make an accurate assessment whether it was pornographic or not.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Yeah, I'll get up at nighttime. I have a tough time sleeping. You probably heard that. And I'll come up once in a while, and I'll just come out here and snap on the radio and spin around the dial. And then it's like almost every night I'm hearing something that happened on this net or that net. Or what happens more than that is I get text messages in the morning. You should have heard what these guys were saying about you guys last night. You know, and I have to hear that. So I had to put all my friends that really are concerned and wanting, you know, thinking that maybe somebody would be upset. I just had to tell them, look, it just doesn't matter that much. Don't send anything I don't need to hear anymore. It's just I know the people, and I know the crowd, and I've never done anything. Nobody here has ever done anything to anybody that would justify that. But yeah, they still feel justified to and you know what? If they're talking about you, they're listening to you. So that's fine with me in my book.
The ham Gestapo.
It's the excellence in amateur radio frequency.
Yeah, you know what the next problem's going to be in amateur radio? It's coming next year. I was reading in one of these new QSTs that the FCC is going to drum up a whole bunch of new OOs. They're not calling them OOs anymore, but they're the same thing. And they're going to let them, you know, put all these people into service. And that is going to be the biggest mess you ever saw in your whole life.
Well, not if they don't have any more power than the OOs, then just to write letters, then big deal, let them right away. But if they give them some kind of authority where they could put you or cancel your not cancel, but suspend a license or make you go to court to defend yourself, then that would be a problem.
Well, even the FCC or the federal government's not that stupid, because the federal government would never give away power to someone else. It just isn't going to happen. But the whole point is, as soon as I read that, I said, that is just a really big mistake.
Well, I can tell you this. I've gotten 2 letters from OOs in the past, and both of them were justified. And both of them, I responded to the person, telling them, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'll do better. So, yeah, it's. I have nothing against OOs of any sort, because they're just out there. You know, I mean, when's the last time you got talked to by an OO or a letter from an OO that wasn't justified?
You know. I told you it was over. It was way back when Packet was going. We made a complaint to the OOs that because Packet was showing up everywhere on repeater frequencies, on outputs, on inputs, on all the what do you call it, channels? You know, the simplex channels. And the first thing the OO did is go around to our group, you know, just like it would be here. He'd come to the Toad Harbor net and send out a thing that you didn't identify at such and such a time every 10 minutes. I mean, instead of doing what people asked him to do, you know, the Packet guy, maybe he was a Packet guy, I don't know, but that did not work well. Believe me, it did not work well. He drove me absolutely crazy.
Well, it's hard to fathom, Ray.
That's right. Well, that guy really pissed me off to no end. He really did. Whatever. That's got to be 20 years ago. Well, I was living here, so it's 20 or 25 years ago. But that Packet thing was a nightmare of a problem. It really was. It was just really out of control.
Yep. Well, now FT8's going to start being that problem.
I know how to take care of it, Ray.
Oh, Bob down in Connecticut, K1KBW came up with a really brilliant, truly brilliant scheme on how to get the Packet guys.
No, I don't want to take care of those guys. I'm going to become an official OO.
Yeah, that would be perfect. That would be a great idea.
What?
Yeah, no. What Bob was going to do, he was going to go to. We knew where these Packet guys were. So what he was going to do, he had it all planned out, and it's really ingenious. He was going to build a little plug-in-the-wall transmitter that run off 110 volts, and he was going to go to a motel very close to the guy's house, and pull the socket out of the wall, attach it to the AC power supply, and push the antenna back up in the wall and put the socket back together. And, you know, say it would be a half a mile from the guy's house, and the guy'd have a signal on the frequency all the time, 24 hours a day, that he'd never be able to DF.
That is nefarious.
I thought it was rather brilliant.
When I was a kid, I was a CB kid. My dad had gotten me a radio. I was in his bedroom. I could only use it when he was home. And I used to talk to a couple of guys on a particular channel 22, I think it was. And there was this one farmer guy that hated me, didn't like me, didn't want no kid, didn't hate me personally, but just didn't want a kid on his channel. So I used to get in there and talk. So then one day, I turn on the radio, and I've got a carrier, like 20 over S9 carrier, just solid carrier. It just was a carrier. And I get on, and I'm like, I call somebody, and I could hear some of the people, but not all the people. And I called my friend that was down the road a little ways, and I said, listen to see if you hear a carrier. And he puts his radio on. He goes, yeah, I see it. I said, well, how big is it? He goes, it's like an S7. I said, S7? I got it for 20. I said, that means it's close to here. I got thinking about it. I live in the country. I bet you. I'll bet you somebody put a walkie-talkie out in the field here someplace. So I took my my little handheld radio that I could listen to CB on, and I tuned it into the frequency, and I jumped on my bicycle. I started pedaling up the road, and we were talking about it over the air. That's what my mistake was. I said to him, I bet you somebody put a walkie, so I'm going to go find it. So I went up the road, and just as I was getting up to the field, here's this pickup truck pulled over with this farmer-looking guy running off into the field. He's coming back with a walkie-talkie that he left there, and I caught him. And it was Jones. It was Patty Jones' father. And I talked to Patty Jones. I said, you tell your father that he's not all that smart.
God, CBers. All I can say is they were a lot better then than they are now.
And they're not going to get any better either.
No, it's gone downhill so bad on the CB band that even the bad guys are getting off.
Well, that's a good thing.
You know where they're going?
Yeah, they're becoming hams.
They're going to 80 meters.
That's a good place for them. There's a lot of room there.
You're wrong. They're all going to GMRS.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh, God.
Yep, they all do. Christ, one of the tighter than Mark and Dave. He spent $75 for a GMRS license, and he got on that on GMRS.
Wait, do you need a license for GMRS? I thought that was that little walkie-talkie thing that you could just get on and talk.
You can, but in order to talk through a repeater, I guess you need a license.
They have repeaters for those?
Yep, around here there's 2 or 3 repeaters, and that's the whole thing. They get on the repeaters and they just chit-chat and leave the stupid C-beers behind.
What frequency, where are they on the bands?
460 megahertz.
Okay.
Come on, Randy, you want to get on GMRS? We'll show them how to do it.
No, I'm pretty good. Right here. Thank you, though. Actually, my amplifier would work there.
Which amplifier?
The Alpha.
The Alpha's going to work on 460?
Oh, 460? I was thinking 4.6.
No, 460 megahertz.
Yeah, it won't work there.
I didn't think so.
Maybe if I turn this knob with a vice grip.
I keep on looking at those tag sales. I keep on forgetting. What's the big one? Yours is an SX, right?
Mine's a Delta X-ray, the SX, but they're all marked DX, but the SX has 2 tubes. That's the bigger one. But that still is. If you see an SX, that means it's been modified after, and somebody replaced the front plate on it. They make an SX plate, but the DX, they have the SXs are all DXs, the original ones.
Well, if you were to actually find an original 2-tube, what does it say on it? SX or DX?
77 DX.
Oh, so it has to say DX to be an original 2-tuber.
Or a single tube. What I'm saying to you, they're both called 77 DX. The SX is a different. It's a 2-tuber, but I'm not sure how that. I read that one place. I don't know how that happened, but they were both called DXs. And if you see one that says SX, it's not an original front plate.
So back to what I'm trying to find out. If you had an original from the factory 2-tube amplifier, it's going to say DX on it?
Just like the single tube, so you wouldn't know until you opened it up.
Oh, okay. So I'll bring my screwdriver.
You only need 2, it just takes 2 screws out the very back, and you just slide the cover open out of the extruded grooves that are in the side of the cabinet.
Well, I already have it figured out. If I find a 2-tube one, I'm going to buy it for $250, $300, bring it home, and I'm going to call you and say, here's what you're going to do. I got you the 2-tube amp. You sell yours, and whatever you get for it, you give to me for the 2-tuber.
If you had a 2-tuber there, you would never call me to get rid of it, because you'd keep it for the rest of your life.
No, I thought long and hard about it. I could not get it into the radio room. Not easily. I could do it. I mean, obviously I'm smart enough to do it, but it would be a real pain in the neck. How much does it weigh?
A ton. I mean, it's a heavy bugger. The power supply, just the transformer, 60 pounds.
Oh, but it comes out, right?
Yeah, on two connectors, and you pick it right out. It's got a rope on the top of it to pick it out with.
Okay, so you take the transformer out, then you just put it out the window here, get a real heavy-duty, rope bag for it, like they use on a ship, put it around it. You get 2 guys up here hauling it up, and 1 guy out there keeping it standing off the side of the house, and just up through the window. It's the only way you'd be able to get it up here.
Randy could do it. He was able to get that mixer off that second floor.
Easy.
Yeah, you could do it, but I'm not a madman like Randy. It'll be easier just to sell it to him and buy a couple of those solid state amps or something.
KT2D. I'm going to grab a cup of tea. I'll be back in a little bit, fellas.
Yeah, I'm going to get a refill myself. KB2ZVP.
N1 DVL. So, Mark, should I start designing the second big improvement for your antenna?
Come on, talk to me.
Well, I mean, is your antenna completely in the open, or does it go through tree branches?
No, it's in the open.
So it's there's ropes that go over the trees, and your antenna basically goes through those ropes, right?
No, I'm not supporting it by trees. It's supported by mast.
Mast? Oh my God, that's so Mickey Mouse.
I don't have any trees that would be of the appropriate size location to run the loop on for support, so I had to put masts up in 4 corners, and the main feed is at the top of the house on 2 sections of tower and 10 foot of pole.
And how high are the masts?
Oh, they're probably 30, 35, probably 30. The feed side's the highest. That's closer to 60.
Yeah, but the problem is now you're going to have to make heavy-duty masts, because the next improvement is going to be, like 6 or 4, probably 6 would be better, 12-gauge wires. 6 12-gauge wires in a thing, probably, I don't know. I'd say the size of a plate. You go and you buy some, I used to have a ton of these. You go buy some cheap, you go to a tag sale and you buy some cheap plastic plates and you groove them, and you make it nice, you do it on a wheel, like a lathe or something, so you can get the degrees right, and you put 6 little things in it, and you use those plates for spacers, and you make the cage a caged loop, and then where your supports are, you tie all the wires back down to one wire, 6 wires, but bundled together for the, 6 inches where it hooks up there, and then you just keep on going. And you run that as a cage, and that's going to work a lot better than the thing you got.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ray, I'll let you go ahead and do your dipole like that and build the cage, and when we get really, really, really super fantastic results of you doing that, then I'll go ahead and I'll put 2 wires up, and then we'll upgrade to 3 wires up, and we'll work on it a little at a time. But I'll let you tackle that first so I can get some good results.
I can tell you right now it'll work very well, but the problem is mine go through trees. You can't use that. That's why I asked you if yours was out in the open. If it goes near any tree branches, you can't do it, because it's going to get hooked up in the trees and just rip the whole thing apart. But if it's in the open, if I had a lot, let's say I decide to move down south and I buy the cow pasture and I put up the 4 supports, so I want to put up a loop, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to run my famous N1 DVL special. I'll put up a 150-foot tower with a real heavy-duty fiberglass mast sticking out the top, 150, 160 feet, and do the 4 wire. But it's definitely going to be caged, and it's going to be big, too. It's going to be 18-inch. And that way there, when you tune it, your tuner does nothing. You go from band to band, you probably hardly even have to turn the tuner.
Yeah, it would be ridiculously broad, that's for sure. But no, I'm not going to be able to support that kind of weight. Not with the mass I'd have. I'd have to put towers up in the 4 corner locations and get really super involved, which I could do. I just have to do it a little at a time. I'd have to do it a corner at a time. But for what I gain over, for what I use it for what I would gain from it compared to what I use it for the amount of expense that would be involved for the project, being as cheap as I am, it's probably not going to happen.
Well, that's okay. Then just make it out of, some big fat wire. Go look up on the internet, because we were discussing this one time, and I don't know if you're better off with that Lutz wire, or you're better off with big diameter solid wire that gives you the lowest RF resistance at this frequency.
Well, the thing really comes down to skin effect. Is the information. I actually looked at that information that you sent me about the different resistance values per 1,000 feet at different conductors and the side skin effect and all that jazz. It all comes into play at these frequencies, and of course, the more significant it becomes. But when you're dealing with a solid conductor at these frequencies, you're just adding more weight to the situation. The outer diameter is important, but to get the outer diameter to be the outer diameter and have all that metal inside that you have to carry weight for that's not being used as a radiator, the issue becomes it's a lot of weight. It needs to be supported, and then once again we're right back into the how much do I want to put into the project to support all this. Now, if you come up, like you said, with the cage, if I was going to do the cage idea, I could use the stainless steel wire and do 6 or 8 of them in a cage of about maybe 6 inches wide and run that all the way around, and I would have fantastic performance with very little weight to very little wind load. And you'd have a cage that'd be 6-inch conductor, but it's hollow. It's mostly space in between the wires. So that's really, if you want to achieve that, that's really the way to go, not with a larger conductor, a solid conductor.
I don't think you can ever use steel in an RF circuit. I just don't think it's the right thing to do.
Well, that's what they use on the big international broadcasts, on the VLF arrays and everything for the military. They use aluminum-clad steel wire. Sometimes they just use steel wire. And at those conductor sizes and those power levels, it's, who cares? You couldn't run copper for things of that nature. It's just, it wouldn't support the weight. The copper would be too not strong enough to support its own weight. It'd be too expensive. Now, for what we're using it for, it's ideal and it's the appropriate thing to use. But you really have to consider your application, Ray, and that's what it really comes down to.
Well, I've got 2 wires on each side of my dipole now because, I had 4 wires. So I just took the 2 outside ones and I put them with the other 2. So I'm running 2 number 12 wires on each side of my dipole.
Oh, okay. So then you're starting a cage already. You just need one more to officially call it a cage dipole.
Yeah, but they're not separated. They're together. So, it's not really a cage, but it's the resistance is half of what it should, normally would be.
Now, what you could do is you could fan them apart by maybe 1 degree and put them on a piece of maybe 2-foot wide PVC and pull them tight at the end so that they're the same taut at both ends, and then you could probably reduce the overall length of your wire by probably several feet, and your bandwidth would increase, and so would your efficiency.
Yeah, too much trouble, though, because they both, one of them doesn't go over a tree branch, but the other one does, so just can't do it here, not with the lot I have. Again, if I ever move, I'm buying a lot that's wide open, and I'm going to put up a big tall tower as tall as I can, 200 feet if I can, and put a pulley, have the guy build it and then put a pulley at the top, and I'll be able to work on it from the ground.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. I mean, I can do better here. I'm going to have to do better on that one corner because I got a weak corner out there with the mast I'm using. It's not appropriate. I'm going to have to upgrade it. So that's the weak link right now, which we'll take care of shortly. But we've got good potential here. We really do. It's just a matter of getting the material together, getting the time to get out there, get the guys to help, which everybody came together on Saturday and made it happen, which was nice. But yeah, and like I said, I don't think that this wire I'm using right now is going to last very long. If we get any kind of ice loading or snow loading on it, it's going to come right apart. So we're going to have to upgrade and replace this with some sort of solid copper just for the strength of it that's needed on the stand. So that'll probably be the next upgrade. The feed line that I made for it is practically indestructible. That's got a steel core in the center of that, so that's not going to pull apart. And that's secured by ropes and whatnot, so it holds its shape. It's not going to move. But the wire itself, probably I'm not real comfortable with that. But when I started, I thought I had solid wire, but I found out right before we started pulling it, I found out what it was, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Let's see, Bruce, are you in here tonight?
Entry orbital.
I just got in here. Hello.
Okay, I got a question for you. Let's say when I move, I put up a 150 or 200 foot tower, and I want to put a pulley up there, a pulley that's going to last for 30 years, and you can't go up and lube it or whatever. Is something like that made? I mean, if you went to a boat yard and bought a $100 or $200, stainless steel or whatever bearing type pulley, do they make stuff like that?
I'm sure they do. It would be involved with stainless steel and probably some sort of a bearing on it, like a Rulon bearing or something, or Teflon. Teflon's a little soft, but Rulon is a interesting substance for bearings. So it's very tough, very long life. You're not talking about a lot of stress on it, a lot of use. It's just a loading. You want it good for shock loading, and you don't want it to corrode.
Right, because I'm going to plan that, because that's going to, if I decide to move, that's the antenna I'm going to run. Actually, I could almost put that antenna up here if I can put up 150 foot tower here. I would almost run that in. No, I can't. I don't have the room. That's right, because the tie points are going to be out 200. If the tower's 125 feet tall, the tie points are 177 feet out. So if the tower is 150, 180 feet, the tie points are going to be out over 2. So you're going to have to have 400 plus feet, or 200 in 4 directions from the tower, and that's a long way. So I can't do it here.
That's a big footprint, that's for sure. Well, start looking for property.
Well, I am. I'm going to move down south. I'm waiting for Randy to move. Randy or Bob, we're going to move to South Carolina.
Yeah. Why don't you go? Then they'll follow.
No, nobody will follow. I'm only going to go when the other people go. We'll all move together. Randy's the only one. He's got the room out there. That's why I want him to do the N1 DVL special. To get that tower up 140, 130, 140 feet. That's going to be tall enough. I think it'll work just fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've been here my family's been here since the Civil War as landowners, and before that in the area as farmers. But I just came out of a meeting, boy, I'll tell you. The planning board wrote a zoning ordinance, draft ordinance for solar installations in the town, and I knew it was sort of percolating, and I finally got around to reading it. They had a hearing tonight. And I went down and I addressed the crowd, and I said, there's something I would like to point out to you folks here. You've got some language in here that would ban every solar system from ever being built in the town of Little Compton. They're so inept at their understanding of the technical nature of how things work that they chose some language. They said that all the energy should be for the certain class of residential system. All the energy must be consumed on the premises. and zero of the systems installed could qualify. So it sent it all back to square one.
Well, what does that mean? If you put up a solar system, you got to use it all on your own property?
Well, that's what they imply. I know what they were implying. It's just supposed to be for your own use, but they said that all the energy should be consumed on the property, and that's not what happens. If there's when you connect your system to the grid, which is 99.9% of all the systems, unless you're an off-grid system, and there's very few of those around. But when you connect to the grid, there's going to be a moment in time when the energy is going out and over to your neighbor's house, and it's not being consumed on your property. I pointed that out to them, and I said it's a technicality, I know, but someone could challenge this if you made this ordinance, part of the statute.
So what did they say?
Well, that and a bunch of other comments I made, and a couple other people stood up, and so they're talking to the planning board.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, eventually this would be everything would be really good in this country if they made every new house. Just think about this. Every new house built has to have solar capacity equal to, say, coming close or very close to running that piece of property. So in 20 or 30 years, you wouldn't even need any nuclear power plants anymore.
Yeah, as long as the sun didn't set. Well, the sun sets. There's no storage, so, solar really is not the answer unless it has a storage system. Because the utility has to provide the backup. So, yeah, you'll still need that nuke plant or that hydro plant or that gas-fired plant or the coal plant, idling along during the day, and then when the sun sets, bam, they fire the thing up to supply the load.
But they're finally going to get the battery technology from the aliens, and you'll be able to have, charge those batteries during the sunlight, and at night they'll run you all night for, 4 to 6 nights before they need a recharge.
Well, if we had alien technology, it would render all of our energy production technology useless because I'm convinced they have figured out how to, tap into the wheel work of the universe, as Tesla said.
Well, they were probably talking to Tesla. They probably told him how to do it, and he was, like you said, he wasn't a very good businessman, so he probably figured he'd build it and give it away for free. So he never told anybody about it.
Yep. Well, he made some allusions to that, but then again, never really came out and said it.
Well, you got to admit, in 1800 to 20 or 30, 20 anyway, he was light years ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, and so were all the other engineers back then. They had a much better grasp on what electricity is compared today. Of course, there's engineers that work for the national grid here that don't even know what a third harmonic is. I couldn't believe it. Had a conversation with a younger engineer. He didn't know what harmonic distortion was. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I know Steve, K1FO, he was at a symposium of electrical engineers, and a whole bunch of these new engineers came up, and he said, "Come here, I want to show you something." And he grabbed one of their hands, and he threw a whole bunch of electronic parts into it, like transistors, capacitors, resistors, and he said, "What are these?" And they didn't even know what they were.
Doesn't surprise me. It's all been replaced by the digital crap. And those engineers don't even have an idea about what the underpinning of the system really is. No, I think we're really in trouble going forward.
Well, and then you see NASA, and they build these incredible things, and they can go out to Pluto, and they can get their spacecraft. They had to shoot it, 10 years ahead of Pluto and go around 2 planets on the way to pick up speed, and they get it there within 1 second of where it's supposed to be. And I mean, they're brilliant. I mean, I don't even know how they do it.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? That is really something.
It is really something. There's some brilliant people in this world that are just incredible. I don't know where the hell they come from. That's the thing.
They trickle out, they have good backgrounds and get great educations, and they're inspired people, very high IQs, and and they're gifted, and they're disciplined.
The thing that surprises me about these brilliant people is that they even have the wherewithal to think about stuff like that. Usually these newer people that are educated in the recent years don't seem to have a lot of common sense to me.
Yeah, well, there's always a lack of that, but there's got to be certain segments of the population that break through the veil of all this ignorance and become very enlightened in terms of their abilities. Thank God for that.
Yeah, well, you're right. Let's hope that there are always people like that.
KB2ZVP, I'm back.
Where's our close personal friend? What's his name? Oh God, I'm having a mental block here. The Indian, the guy that went to India there.
You went to Israel?
No, Devin. Where's Devin been?
Oh, I don't know where Devin is.
Israel. I hope he's still alive. I hope he didn't get bombed by a Katyusha rocket.
I'll tell you, he sent a bunch of pictures back today. Just really beautiful pictures over there. That's a beautiful place.
I just find it utterly. I want a complete explanation when he gets back on why he went there all by himself. I think I got it. I think I got it figured out. If you think about this, I think I have it figured out.
Okay.
He's a secret spy.
Couldn't be he just wanted to go there and see what it was like?
Never. No way. He's spying for somebody.
I don't know. I think he probably just interested to explore the world. I think it's great. Hi, Randy.
How you doing, Bruce? I agree with you. I think it's... did you see the pictures? You probably didn't see them, right?
No, I didn't get them.
I put them on Facebook, on the Toad Harbor Facebook page. If you check into that. If not, I could just send them to you. But I'll tell you, that's just simply a beautiful country.
How can it be beautiful? It's in the middle of the desert.
Well, Ray, that's what you believe. So that's what you see. You see the parts on TV they want you to see.
Shut up, Ray, you asshole.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Good evening again, KT Tootie.
Okay, Bob. We're just talking about Mike being over in Israel.
Yep, I heard.
Bruce, did you say you're all set with the hotel?
Yeah, I got a reservation.
Okay, good.
You selling out?
I don't know how many we have left. I haven't kept track. I guess I'll have to have Maureen check.
Hey, when are you getting ready to move down to South Carolina?
Who are you asking that question of?
You.
Why would I why? I've answered this question 1,000 times. I'm not going to answer it again.
I've heard you personally say that several times that you're more open to it now than you were before.
Yeah, but I'm still not going to do it. I told you before that, I'm not moving without my wife, and my wife doesn't want to move down there away from the grandkids. So let's just, unless they move, we're not moving.
I'm sick of these winters. I know what I need. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a sauna in the cellar. One of those saunas you get in and you throw the water on the hot rocks.
You know, Mike moved out there to where he lives all by himself. Mike went out to Israel all by himself. I mean, why can't you be more like Mike?
Well, you know, I went to this many, many years ago when I first moved in here. A friend has a place up in Vermont, and we went up there and stayed for a weekend. Mary Ellen and her friend went skiing, and I just hung around. I don't ski, too dangerous. And but he had a sauna there. He had one of those. He had a inside the house pool, like a small, like a hot pool with jets in it. It was kind of a hot tub, but it was, built in. And he had one of those saunas where you go in and you put, it's hot and real steamy, and you throw the water on the rocks in the center. And that was pretty nice. In the wintertime, it was really nice because it was really cold, and you'd be outside, and it was just really cold. Even it was so cold, being up there in Vermont, wind blowing and everything, and you come in and you get in that sauna and you throw the water on the rocks and you sit there and sweat. Boy, that was kind of nice.
But yeah, when it's 90 degrees outside and the temperature or the humidity's at 95%, you piss and moan because it's so hot and humid. You can't stand it.
Well, true, but in the wintertime, it's nice to get into a nice steamy hot tub. I wonder, is there any kind of an adapter you can put into one of those stand-up showers that just throws steam in there? There must be, right?
Let's see. You would have to have steam. You'd have to have the water hot enough, boiling. You could convert a hot water heater to produce steam, but that's not good for the hot water heater. But they'll actually produce steam.
Well, true, but there must be some kind of a system you can buy that produces steam that you can steam yourself in one of those in the shower.
Are you looking for the hot steam or just vapor?
No, hot steam. In other words, you put a little stool in there, you sit on the stool and you turn on the steam and you just take a nice steam.
Well, just crank your shower up, your hot water heater. Just use hot water. Don't have it splashing on you, and that'll produce plenty of hot steam.
Yeah, that's true, but there's not enough room to get in there and have the hot water spraying and not land on you.
Well, just turn it up a little at a time. Get to a comfortable level, and then turn it up a little hotter and a little hotter, and eventually you'll get used to it, and it won't be so problematic or so painful for you that you can't stand it. And you'll get nice and hot. That's what I do. I honestly do that. When my back is killing me and stuff, I'll get to the point where I'm running the hot water just about full bore and no cold water.
Yeah, there's got to be. There's got to be some kind of a steamer you could buy and put in there. There just simply has to be.
I think Stanley makes them.
Yeah, right. Just get one of those. Plug in the wall steamer and just put it over the top of the thing and steam. That'll work great. I'll find one. I'll go to Home Depot next time I'm there and talk to them about it.
So, Randy, this is KT2D. It's the Saturday the 15th of June and Sunday, so be the evening of the 15th. I need the room, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. We're staying over Saturday night into Sunday.
Before I forget.
I double Saturday into Sunday.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm glad you guys talked about that. I gotta book it before I forget.
And they're not gone. They're there. And they're not there, or else the price goes up.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Sort of.
I can't wait to meet Mark there. He's going to be a lot of fun to hang out with. And your wife won't go with you, Bob?
She might, but she's got stuff with her mother, and I think that weekend, we talked about it, and that weekend she's got other stuff going on. We do some stuff, but she's pretty active in her own area. She teaches yoga. She's got a bunch of other stuff going on. Plus, her mother's getting up in years, and she doesn't go too far from her, so blah, 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 kind of like that.
Yeah, I understand. But understand that a lot of women will be going, a lot of really cool wives will be. I mean, really, the women, I think, have as much fun as the men do, if not more. They get together and gab and talk about the men, But there's, it's not, just clear your mind of a ham fest, okay? Because it's not like that. It's more like when the good parts of your family get together for a picnic, the good members and all the a-holes and the jerks stay home. That's kind of like what it's like. Of course, we always have that one cousin that shows up, But for the most part, it's all good people that show up, and we have a blast.
Oh, don't talk about Mark like that when you never even met him.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be great. It's a good group, you can just tell that. So, yeah, we'll see. But, she's got her stuff to do, and, yeah, we'll see.
Understood. Just as long as you let her know that she's very, very welcome.
Yeah, I'll see how she's doing as we get closer.
And if she wants to talk to my wife about what, anything like that, she can just phone up Maureen and she'll tell her about what, she can talk to my wife, get a comfort level.
Yeah, no, it's nothing like that. It's just conflicts with she's got a packed schedule, and what I've learned a long time ago is if I limit what I'm going to do to fit in both of our schedules, I wouldn't do anything. So if she can make it, fine. If not, I'm not going to hold myself back. So it's nothing like that, Randy. It's just that she's one of these type A people that has all this stuff packed into her schedule.
Have you seen any of the pictures of our get-together in Northampton?
No, I have not.
I'll send some. I'll text you some over with explanations as to who they are.
Okie doke. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, so the rooms must be going fast. It looks like they're $209 a night.
Yeah, I've got an email of what the regular price is and what our discounted price is. It's not a huge discount, but it's a discount. Are you using the ham radio group discount code?
Yeah, I put that in under the group. It's HRG, so I thought it was less than that, but it doesn't matter really.
Yeah, I queried the person at the hotel about what the normal price was. I think she said $280 something. And then I said, well, I know it's New York and you got a governor called Cuomo, so read me the bad news about what the sales tax is. And she said, oh, there's tax. And I said, well, yeah, what's the percentage? I don't know. And I said, well, you ought to know. I mean, ours in this state is like 6%. What is it out there? 10, 12, 15, 18? And she said, I don't know. I'll go find out. And I really didn't want to hang on the phone anymore, but she put me on hold, went back, came back, and said that it's 10%. So it's 10% tax on top of it.
Hey, Randy, I'm looking through a junk drawer here, and I just came up with a business card from Alan Miller.
Bruce, sorry.
Manager, Vinyl Manufacturing, Universal Music and Video Distribution.
Wait your turn, Ray.
Yeah, 10%. Yeah, I was going to guess 18%, but yep, that's King Cuomo II. You got to keep filling those coffers.
I can't believe it's 10%. I thought it was 8 1/4 or 8 3/4 anyway.
Well,
10% tax down there in Kingston?
Though they had that
doesn't make sense to me. Are you sure?
There's entertainment, luxury tax that they can tack on, go with that, or different businesses. I think. Like when you go to an airport, your air fees, there's all kinds of other fees that are on top of that over the sales tax.
Yeah, it could be a special tax on the accommodations.
I can't believe every hotel in New York just doesn't get together and just tell them, we're not paying this anymore, or we're all leaving the state. We're all closing every hotel in the state until you let go. And you know what? After a week, the tax would go away.
Well, the hotels aren't paying it, Ray.
That's probably it.
Well, I understand that, but it's costing them.
How is it? Every hotel is full all the time.
I got to tell you, not too many people ask what it is, because this girl didn't know what it was when I asked. I don't think I ID'd KD1MW.
N3 RMR. KT2D.
And KB2ZVP.
N1 DVL.
KC3 KXB. I've only got 152 hours left of vacation this year. Man, oh man, I gotta get more time off.
That's for sure.
We spent all day today doing an entire floor on a hospital in Phoenixville.
What do you mean doing a floor? Putting a floor in or cleaning a floor? What do you do?
All the window treatments for the floor were changed.
Well, hell, my wife does that here.
Yeah, we had to take down the verticals that they had on the windows and the rods and everything, take it all down, and we put up Mecco shades on every window, 27 windows. So it was quite a bit of work.
What kind of shades? Hello, Mark.
Waiting for the squelch tail to drop. It looks like the band noise is coming up. Mecco shades, M-E-C-H-O, Mecco.
Are they good or something?
35-year warranted product. Yeah, they're indestructible.
So now do you have enough money to buy the Kenwood?
No, Ray, that was just one job of, the next thing coming up is going to be the 9th floor of the Alex Grass building in the Harrisburg Hospital. Then after that project, we'll be starting on York Memorial, which is an entire hospital down in York, plus the MOB building, which is a Master of Business building. So that's 300 shades in one building and 185 in the other, plus all the other decorator work in between and everything else. So we're going to be really, really busy here for the next 3 months.
So, Randy, should we order the radio for him now?
I'm not going to order it, no. He can order it himself.
So we'll just put in the order. We'll charge it to him.
You tell me when you got his credit card information.
Okay.
We do not use and or have any credit cards.
Well, then how do you buy something mail order?
There are ways, Ray. I can't divulge that to you on the air, but there are ways.
Oh, okay. I'm sure.
Bob, are you getting those pictures I sent over?
Yes, I am. I'm getting them. I'm filling in my stuff right now, but they're coming over nice. I'm going to look at them in a second. I'm just filling in my reservation stuff right now.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure I wasn't overloading the phone.
No, I'm fine so far.
Hey, Randy, send Bob a copy of those pages that I sent.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Yeah, I had a note to ask you about that, Randy, but it wasn't convenient to bring it up, but now that Ray did, that'd be great. I'd be very interested in seeing that.
We'll get a real expert to look at it.
Who's that?
Bob.
Oh, geez, you better get a backup expert.
Okay.
Send you a picture of this ladder line sometime, Randy, and during the daytime I'll take a picture and send it to you.
Okay.
You need some pointers, Mark?
Okay, my reservation is confirmed. I'm in.
It's just kind of interesting looking, even in the dark, because we have the billboard here and the car wash light and all that. It shines up on all the insulators, and it definitely looks like a ladder line, yeah.
Now all you need's a little gnome to climb it.
That's an awesome idea, Ray. I think I could do that.
I have birds climbing mine all the time. We have birds out here all the time climbing up and down the things.
Get a little plastic gnome and have it going up the vertical part to halfway up.
I haven't seen a gray squirrel out here, Randy, in 3 months. Really, 3 months, maybe 4 months. Not one.
Well, the word's out.
You know what I think it is? I think the black squirrels chase them away.
No, all the gray squirrels this time of the year, they're all at, the romantic hot gray squirrel spot.
Well, I usually see them, and I haven't seen one.
Boy, that Northampton hotel where you guys are having breakfast, it's quite a dining room.
So, there's a story about that.
Okay.
That's what I was waiting for. So we get there. Now, we had this thing set up. We were going to go there. And we've eaten there before, and the breakfast is just sensational. And we had made a reservation the first time we went there. I had made a reservation for like 40 people at this big get-together. So they were very nice and no sweat and all that. So next time we decided we were just going to have, it was going to be Ray and a date, and Maureen and I were going to go out there, and we got talking about it on the air, and next thing you know, more and more people said, hey, I'd like to go, and so we thought, well, this is great. So Maureen did the same thing. She called out there, she got a hotel rate, and people bought their own rooms, and we went out. And so we get there a little bit early, and I met with Bruce and Jane, and we were talking. And so what happened was we got there, and I said to Maureen, I'm going to go downstairs and make sure we're all set for brunch. This big huge brunch that they do. So I go downstairs and I say, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Randy." And I was a little bit surprised that they didn't know who I was when I got there, to be honest. But I said, "I'm Randy from the Toad Harbor, and we're coming here for breakfast or for brunch tomorrow." And the guy, or the young lady who's there says, "You're going where?" I said, "Here to the to the big brunch." And she goes, "Oh no," she says, "you're not." She said, "We're full." I said, "What do you mean you're full?" I said, "We're members of the hotel. We're guests." And she goes, "Well, that doesn't matter. This is a different company. They take over the Wiggins bar, and it's a different group." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, we came last year, we're here again this year, and I got 20 some odd people that are here, and we're eating here tomorrow." And she goes, "Sir, would you like me to get my manager?" And I said, "Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea." So he did, and she did, and I'm talking to this guy, and then then I have to wait for somebody else. So then I'm standing there waiting, and here comes Bruce and Jane, and who else came? Somebody else came, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is going to be bad if I got to tell all these people that we're not going to be able to have breakfast here. We're getting together to see each other first, but let's face it, we're hams. We're getting together to eat." So and then we're going back and forth. So then the head manager guy comes, and he says, and these guys are pros, and he goes, "Look, this is what we're going to do. We've got a big shindig going on." He didn't say shindig, event going on in the grand ballroom tonight. It'll be over by midnight, and we'll turn it around and get the first 2 or 3 tables set up for your group for tomorrow. But you'll have to walk down the hall through this area here and go get your fill your plates, and then come back to the ballroom. And I said, that's perfectly fine. No sweat whatsoever. We'll be happy to have that. So I explained that to the group, and everybody was very good, very okay with it. So then we decided, then it got to be later on. We're having a few drinks in the lobby and all these things. Then we decided to have dinner. And so we got calling around, and no, everybody's full. And the place that we're at has a great dining room, but that's full. So then then the guy comes over. Now this is what we can do. We can take this area here. We can clean it all out. We'll put tables in and linens in this area, and you guys as a group can sit here. And he goes, "But you have to put up with the service. It's going to be a little bit slower than what it normally would be, but the food should be it's a good menu, and you should be okay." So that's what we wound up doing. So both meals that we had there, they had to set up a special special tables and do special things to accommodate us, and they did a great job. Hats off to those people. They did a really great job out there for us. KB2ZVP.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a good banquet manager or manager, whoever runs it, to be able to do it on the fly like that and not get all wiggy on you. Yeah, that's nice. And plus, I'm sure you were good about it and not being unreasonable, so that probably helped a lot too. KT2D.
Yeah, no, I was trying to be as calm and courteous as I could, because I didn't realize, you go to a hotel and they always have a breakfast like that. I just didn't think about it. And the bad part is a bunch of the people here, good Mike especially, was telling me, "You better have reservations for that." And I said, "We'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be good." And, "You better have reservations." I said, "Stop worrying about it. We'll be fine. We're the Toad Harbor Net. Of course they're gonna have room for us." Well, they didn't. And the manager was really super cool about it all. He did a great job. He earned his stripes that weekend for us.
Well, it's in their best interest too, because they're only as good as their occupancy rate or their fill rate in the restaurant. So that works out well too.
Well, so I did pull off listen, buddy, you don't want this group not happy with you, okay? They're all federally licensed people, and you don't want these guys upset. Because, nobody wants inspections like that, right, from the feds. So, you got to support, you really need some help here. And next thing you know, hey, they were eating out of our hands.
Yeah, it was a real nasty, mean streak that I cannot control when he gets hungry.
You mean you get a little hangry?
I could tell you stories, but my throat, it's gone dry on me.
Maureen wants to go out on Pearl Harbor Day, the next get-together in Northampton.
Sure, I think my calendar's open.
It'll be the same weekend. It'll be all decorated for Christmas and like that. That'll be kind of fun.
Randy, is the noise floor on your receive tonight pretty high?
It wasn't too bad earlier. I just shut off the attenuation and stuff, and it's banging around a 7 to a little over 9.
Yeah, it sounds like a real rushing waterfall. It's really high tonight down here.
But with my 12 dB of attenuation on, it's about a 1 or a 2. And with my AGC on mid, I hardly don't hear it.
Yeah, it's about 3 dB, 3S units higher down here tonight than it was last night.
Well, it's just going to get higher and higher and higher come summertime.
Gonna have to put the steel antenna back up.
When you turn the radio on and it's 20 and 30 over S9 solid static, and you only hear the guys that are 30 and 40 over S9, you'll know what I mean by summertime.
Oh yes, I know. We're on every night of the year.
Does anybody know how much the rooms were at the Hotel Northampton last year?
So, and it looks like this Lake Katrine place. Lake Katrine looks like kind of a resort anyway, and it's the resort time. So, New York State, those are pretty reasonable prices, I think, Randy.
Yeah, I think. What was it? Did Bruce say they're normally like $289 or something?
Yeah, something like that. That's what he said.
And what are we paying? $209?
Or correct.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good discount. I mean, I think.
Oh yeah, I do too. I'm just yeah.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but you're not staying in a tent either. They're nice rooms. They're clean. There's good security, bulletproof glass in the front, so you don't have to worry about the people shooting through the windows or anything.
Well, that's always good. Yeah. So for the drive-bys, huh? Where'd Ray go? Is he winding a ballon or something?
Who knows? But you can be assured of one thing. When you're into a conversation, he's just going to come blurting out with something that has nothing to do at all with what the people are talking about.
I know.
You're on the ham radio there.
So, Randy, I found on my Philly phone, I found the confirmation for the reservation, Northampton. The nightly rate $205.99. The tax was $24. Came to $230 for one night.
$230. Okay. Well, it's not cheap, but that's a nice area. But tax is $20. What do you say? $24?
Yeah. So it comes out to about the same for the one for Kingston.
Yeah, it really does. It's just about the same. You guys had the balcony room also, right?
Yeah, that was a cool room.
I don't know. I think it's cool to get together with people that you talk to all the time. You know, it's just nice. Like last year, gosh, we got together, 3 or 4 times, I guess, with a bunch of different people because we went out to Massachusetts for breakfast that time where we first met you and Jane. Was that in Connecticut or Mass? That was Massachusetts, right? And then the summertime thing and the wintertime thing. So I don't know. I think it's good to get together now and again.
It definitely is. Yeah, that was Connecticut. Yeah, I think if we got together and made it more than a night, though, I think we could get in some pretty big trouble, especially if we were in like a place like Northampton.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we probably could.
I mean, we'd have to keep an eye on Ray because he might unload on somebody.
Then he'd find out really then and there who his real friends are, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have to decide.
We have to draw straws. Who's his friend tonight? Yeah, Maureen's got a great idea. If we plan ahead far enough, we can get a better rate at the Hotel Northampton. So if we wanted to do that, another get-together in December, we should probably plan that now.
Yeah, that would be forward thinking.
I'll have her check. She can't check tomorrow, but next week during the evening or something, you can start that process, right? Yeah, she'll start that process. Although she's going to be very tired next week in the evenings, I'm sure, because she's starting back to work at the plant. She's going back in next Monday. Monday's her first day, and she's working Saturday also. So her first week will be a full week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll start having money again because then she'll be earning money and, that'll be great.
Certainly helps.
But it's short days. You're going in when? At 11:30? Oh, she's not going in until 11:30. My God, what's the point? You might as well stay home. So she's just gonna cover lunches. So oh well, poor dear. are the plants coming, Bruce? Are they? You got plants sprouting and doing all their good things that they're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, I got to jump on it too early. I got a little overzealous, I think. I'm going to have more than I can pedal, I think. Normally I don't start on the roads with my little stand. I don't start until about mid-April, 12th, 15th. I started with stuff out there at the end of last month, like the 29th of March or something. So I started earlier, burning more energy to heat things. But anyway, I figured I'd jump in. What the hell? And I am getting some customers, and it'll pick up soon as the weather. We need some warmer weather. It's been very chilly and windy and a little wet lately. But as the days get sunny and warmer, people will come out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, and everybody's anxious. I mean, Tom was talking about, he was tilling his garden. I think last week he tilled his garden up, and I pulled the snowblower off the tractor just before the last storm, and I'm dying to get the tiller on the back of that and get that serviced and get it in the ground. I mean, I can't do anything here yet for a while, but I can till in all of the stuff that Maureen put on the garden over the winter,
I'm ready to till it again, Randy.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. KC3 KXB.
And 1 DBL.
KD1MW. Gee, Tom, your ground is thawed out?
KT2D.
Yeah, she's all thawed out.
Wow.
And I got 25 chestnut seedlings started.
Chestnut trees?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I love chestnuts. Boy, they must be great when they're fresh.
This last year, Thanksgiving turkey, I made chestnut stuffing, and man, was that good.
Oh, so how many chestnut trees do you have now?
Right now, mature ones probably about 4.
Only 4? How long does it take for them to start making chestnuts?
Not long. A couple, 3 years.
Okay.
Oh, all right, that's right, you don't have the internet. I was going to say the American Chestnut Foundation. That's a group that I belong to. Want to repopulate the East with the American chestnuts.
Do we want chestnut trees? Are they good?
Yeah, the wood, I guess back in the day, they would cut one tree, and they'd get enough lumber out of one tree to fill a boxcar.
So your chestnut trees are that big?
No, mine are probably, I'm going to say maybe 10 inches.
How many chestnuts do you get off a tree?
This last year I had probably 3/4 of a bushel off of, like I say, off 4 trees.
Oh, man. That's not much. I figured you had like a truckload full.
To me, that's quite a few chestnuts, because I have to fight the deer and fight the turkey and fight the squirrels and the chipmunks, and everybody's after them.
Randy, I think we have to take a ride out there.
We can help you with that problem.
So, Bruce, these are American chestnuts?
No, what I have is the Chinese chestnuts.
Oh, okay. And there's one of them that's not edible. Is it the horse chestnut that's not edible?
Horse chestnuts, the Buckeyes, yeah.
Okay, that's the same as a Buckeye. Got it. Yeah.
And that's Tom in Pennsylvania, Bob.
Oh, shoot, that's right. It is Tom. Sorry about that. Yeah, thanks. Sorry.
If you want the American chestnut seed, they're 15/16 American and 1/16 Chinese for blight resistant. Like I say, it's American Chestnut Foundation.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'll look them up.
Or the Dunston chestnut, Dunston. that grows to really big nuts.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
K1 DSK. Hello, Toad Harbor.
There he is. Ray was just talking about you tonight.
Hello, Ray. How you been? I missed you for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Where you been?
Well, I was in India for over 2 months. I left here January 15th. I think I spoke to you guys around 13th or 12th. My plan was to come back on the 8th March, but I had to postpone it. I came back on 20th March here. I think I told other guys the mom got sick. I had to take her to the hospital, and I was a nurse for her for a month and a half. So, but I'm glad I spent time with her. It was kind of tough. She's doing really well. She's with my sister. So I came home and felt very good about it. But good to be back home. Back to you.
Okay, well, I knew all about that. I just meant since you got home. You got home, what, a week ago? Haven't heard you. I heard you just maybe one time.
Yeah, I was there twice. Generally, I'm on the 40 meters around 5, 6 o'clock, sometimes 7 o'clock. Then I watch TV. We got into a new series about Mexican president, Salinas. It's in Spanish. He became a candidate. He got shot. Political assassination. Very interesting. So we watched a lot of TV, trying to catch up with my wife. I missed her for 2 months. So that's a priority right now. But I'll be back regularly.
Okay, very good. Okay, well, anyway, I'm glad to hear you, and I'm just going to take a standby. I think I'm going to actually go to bed pretty soon, so I'm letting the amp cool down. I'm just running 100 watts and 1 dBL.
Let me say hi to Bruce. I haven't said hi to him. And I think Mark, we have spoken before. Tom, I think I met. We talked. And Bob also. I think I said hello last time I was here. Good evening, everyone. K1 DSK.
Hello, good evening, Devin. Yep, you did say hello the last time you were here. Kisses, Bob, KT2D.
And I'm going to check out. Before I run, Devin, did you see the short video that I sent you from Mike?
Oh, yes. Have you talked to him yet or just texted?
We've texted back and forth. He got up this morning. He sent a video that it was the morning call to prayer at 4:45 this morning. So he was up. I was hoping he would call and then he could check in, but he didn't. So I think he probably went back to bed. But we've communicated throughout the days.
So when did he reach there, Israel?
The 1st.
1st of March?
Of April.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still in March, 1st of April. So he's been there for 5 days. And how long does he plan to stay there?
Saturday. He comes back Saturday.
Okay. Well, for the video, it seemed like, he was having a good time. But you can't tell with, Mike. It's hard to tell when he's smiling or he's upset.
Well, if you look at the Toad Harbor Facebook page, there's a lot of pictures that he put on. And really, really beautiful.
All right. It's supposed to be really a good trip. Good places there. Okay, good. I'll catch up with him. I'll look at the page. Thank you.
All right, pal. Have a good night, everybody. You guys, we'll see you. Devin, you're aware, right? We've talked about the 15th in June.
Oh, yes, very much. And I had mentioned to you that count us in, and we also want a room. So I have to check my email again. Yes, I think Maureen sent the information, so I'll call the hotel, make the reservation. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I know Bob just signed up tonight, and Bruce and Jane are on, and I know Bippy's on, and Ray, are you, do I need to make you a room, Ray? I think he's gone. I'll have to get a room for him, too, probably. But, okay. Yeah, so they're filling up. I think there's probably plenty of space left. I know Mike and Joanne, I think, are hooked up already.
All right, good. Yeah, we'll be there. We're looking forward to it. Bruce, I went in last winter, and mint is doing really, really well. So it's still too cold to bring it outside, but that's one thing that I love very much. But other things, the parsley, the basil, and cilantro, they were, I think, annual. They didn't survive. Go ahead.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you got that mint plant running. I have one here, too, that... And, oh, Devin, welcome home, by the way. Welcome home. I have a big mint plant that I wintered over, and I took a lot of cuttings from it. And I've got maybe, 30, 40 pots of it growing. I've been selling some of it. I got it out last year around the Derby, Kentucky Derby, and so I put a sign on it that said Derby mint, and for juleps, mint juleps, and it sold pretty well. And then I had some left over for it was after the Derby had already happened, so I called it After Derby mint, and it still sold.
Oh, wow, that's really good. Yeah, I put that in a big pot. I didn't want to put it in the ground because it sort of spreads everywhere. But I've been enjoying tea, and I make mint chutney, spicy chutney with mint. So you can spread on the bread, on toast, or put on chicken or whatever meat. Really, really excellent. Fresh mint, there's nothing like that. Back to you.
Yeah, I really like it in my tea. I take a couple leaves, throw it in the teapot, with a tea bag and maybe some red clover blossoms or something, and just let it sit there, steep away for a while. And the mint gives it such a nice flavor.
So this year, when you come to the Toad Harbor meet on June 15th, if you happen to bring some more plants, I would not object. Back to you.
All right, well, whatever I have, I'm going to load on board. I'll bring them down.
That'll be awesome. Have you seen such shameless people who ask for things? All right. Oh, I love those plants, the herbs. I'll really appreciate it if you have any left over. All right, K1DSK on the side.
KD1 Mountain Whiskey.
Since nobody else is chipping in, let me ask you, Bruce, how did the vertical for the mobile, I think, what is the mobile home you're planning to, how did that work out?
Well, I haven't really carried it forward. I had it on the roof of the building here and test with it, and then I brought it inside here and made some tests with it inside because it seemed to work pretty well inside, which was a big mystery since it's a metal building. And I had plans to put it out in the field with a radial system underneath it to see how it would work out there compared to on the roof of the metal building. But I got waylaid with other projects, and the winter came, and so I didn't finish it. So it's still sitting here inside. Maybe I should hook it up again. I was thinking of putting it back on the roof just to test it out again. But the idea was to get it onto the back of the MDU, the mobile dwelling unit. But that hasn't happened either. I've been very, very busy with some projects going on here that have deadlines to them. So all that stuff has sort of been put in the back burner. I did manage to straighten out my dipole, though. That was bent into a 90-degree kind of V-shaped thing because of the Christmas display on the tower and all that stuff. But I finally got that straightened out several weeks ago.
Yeah, I'll be curious how that process goes through. I still haven't started my project. I have all the parts, the toroids and cores for folded counterpoise inverted L for 160 meters. It'll be about 10 feet elevated, one radial. I think about 125, or no, 5/16, so about 140 feet, folded 2.5 times. So about 66 feet, 66 and 33 feet. 10, and supposed to be really a very efficient 60-meter antenna. All the parts are here, but once the weather gets nice, I'll try that. So I've been waiting for that. Other than that, no radio or radio-related things for the last 2 months. I was just trying to get all the parts and meters and everything together so I can do some more work. That puzzle is still there. The RF on the loop, 160-meter loop at 20 meters, 17 meters. I start looking at that. Change the ladder line length. When I increase the ladder line length, the RF increases. And so I have to look at maybe there's a ground loop with a ground wire. That's the next step. Go ahead.
Yeah, sounds good. Lots of projects. Inverted L sounds like it might be a thing to give you some good results with. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too many antenna projects. I'd like to finish this. I'd like to get this thing on the mobile for some road trips coming up. But I don't know whether I'm going to have the time. It's going to take a little while to get that all worked out, but I might just stick it on there. And if I hit the road, I'll try to work with it on the road, and it'll be something to play with anyway. I did manage to get a DC line up to the front, to the driver's position that I can plug the 7300 in. That's the radio I figure I'll take with me because it's small enough, and I don't know, it may not be accessible when I'm driving, but while I'm stationary, which is probably I'm more interested in operating stationary anyway than rolling down the road.
Yeah, well, I got to, I had bought some meters and test equipment earlier. I bought a RF current meter so I can measure RF current on a coax or current in a antenna wire. I have an electric field meter, and now after I came back, I bought a LCR meter so I can measure the inductance and the capacitance of devices I make. I'm doing a lot of transformers, ununs, balance, start making those, so I don't have to buy those. Practicing with NFEDs, so that's a new project, making different transformers and balance. All right, Bruce, I just don't want to keep, just to stop by to say hi. I'll be back on the net, and hopefully we'll talk more. How is Jane doing? So please say greetings, my hello to Jane, and hopefully we'll meet soon. K1DSK.
Yeah, okay, Devin, sounds good. Yeah, Jane's fine. We're doing a lot of walking together almost every day, 3-4 miles maybe. Maybe every other day. Some days she goes without me. And we're working out a little bit in a local gym for some exercise, sort of toning up our muscles and the usual routine around here, dinners every night and shopping trips out and watching a few movies every now and then, having some fun.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, I had not been doing exercise. Well, when I was in India, I did a lot of walking. I used to walk 5-6 kilometers every day, but no gym or weight exercises, push-ups. I started going back to gym. Boy, it is hard to start again. It's going to take me a while before I feel comfortable there. Everything hurts after I come back from exercise. But you got to do it or you lose it. And walking, yes, we walk quite a bit. Not regularly, but 2 or 3 times a week. Watching a lot of movies, cooking together, trying to catch up on the lost time. Away from home is tough. And it's hard on both of us, but something we got to do. All right, Bruce, I won't keep you long. Say good night to you and everybody else who's listening. This is Kilo 1, Delta Sierra Kilo. I'll be listening for a couple of minutes and then say Bill QRT. Good night.
Good night, Devin. Take care. This is Katie 1 Mountain Whiskey.